Happy New Year, everybody. Well, welcome back to Solo Travel Adventures. I'm Cheryl Esch, your travel coach and solo travel advocate. I'm so happy you're here and ready for a fresh start as I am, I'm sure. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you'll probably notice there's been a slight shift in my focus of my podcast. And I wanted to share a bit of my story today, but also give you a little hint as to the new direction the podcast may be going as you start to listen more and more. Now, I will still offer you tips and tricks and packing stuff and different highlighted places like cities and countries that you should probably try to get to. Absolutely, because I love doing that. And that's the whole thing I love about travel, as I'm sure you do. And I want to provide these resources for you, but I also have focused more on the aspect of healing and travel. I have a travel coaching program called Healing Through Travel, specifically for women 50 and above, Christian women, that I guide through and help get through some hard times, such as grieving or traumas, and provide transformation. And this could happen for anybody. So it's not just a vacation, although it can be, but there is more to travel than just that. And data even says that this year, 2026, will be the year of what they call whycation. What does that mean? Well, there's going to be more of a purpose or a why behind your travel. So it's not just let's go and see something, check something off a bucket list. It's going to be more meaningful than that. And I think that's where my story comes in today. And I've had the travel bug for a long time. And actually, since probably about age 9, our family went on a 5-week RV trip across the U.S. And I think that is where that seed was planted. And I do love the national parks, I think, because of this. But I also love being outdoors as well. Age 23, I also went on a 5-week backpacking trip to Europe. Now, this was my first international trip. And that was so life-changing. And it changed my whole perspective on travel in general. And it transformed how I saw travel. But later in life, my travel became more focused on solo and finding those times alone, especially after my divorce. And I realized how restorative it was for me personally. And I know there are other women out there, like yourself maybe, that are hurting or going through a hard time, grieving, or especially if you had a trauma happen. And I've grieved a lot in my life, so I certainly can help guide women through that process. And I feel travel can be a vehicle to help with that. And that's why I've developed a travel coaching program, and my program is called Healing Through Travel that I offer. But my story has many layers as to how travel has helped heal me in the process of going through some very trying times, some grieving times, some traumas as well. And sometimes these trips were intentionally planned for times of healing or restoration. And sometimes it sort of showed up spontaneously, and I was not anticipating that happening. For example, a trip to Jamaica almost immediately after my mother passed away showed me that it is possible, even without knowing it. That time in Jamaica, which I recount the whole thing in episode 147. I encourage you to go back and listen to that, of how I found myself really at the depths of my sorrow, but how that trip really gave me a sense of hope for my future. And there have been other trips that I have made that have also provided some restoration to me. And the most infamous one that I know I've shared before, and I think this was the catalyst to really show me that there is potential in helping other women going through issues of trauma, grief, or loss, that this travel can really be that extra tool or resource. And I'm not saying it's the only thing you should do, but it can be coupled with some other things such as therapy. And when I left my marriage, I took a 2-week road trip from Texas to Maine and made many stops in between. And it was, I don't know, just so liberating. There was such a sense of freedom, coming out from under a marriage that was not great. I didn't feel I could be myself or bloom in that relationship. And so I felt very stifled. So having that opportunity to adventure out and take this 2-week trip on my own, which I had done a little bit of solo travel prior to that, but this was a whole nother level because it was longer, I think, than I've ever done a solo trip by myself up until that point. I've done longer solo trips since, and it was just a way for me to recapture and rediscover the things that I love, things that make me me. And I came back from that trip more confident because I was starting to understand who I was again. And that trip really set the groundwork for what I do now in my Healing Through Travel program. And I did another trip, just to recap, another opportunity where I took a solo trip. And this was actually, I walked the Camino. And this was intentionally supposed to, help me heal from a trauma that happened about the year before. Yes, so it happened about the year before. And I was really hoping that that time away walking the Camino would provide me with sort of a new start. I wanted it to signify a new start. And this journey of this pilgrimage, I did the Portugal route. I started on the coast and then went up through the central part of Portugal and ended up in Santiago, Spain, and at the cathedral. And there's a couple episodes that I did from 2024, actually, and they highlight sort of what I learned on the Camino, but I'll give you a little snippet here. There's more details in those. There was 2 episodes that I did after I came back, and I think there was one before, but it didn't turn out as I had planned. And so big learning experience for me was that travel never turns out as you plan. I kind of knew that, but I think because I had set such a hard intention, like I really was putting such high expectations on this trip that it would transform me and, take away the pain of the trauma that I had and in 2023 and, wipe my slate clean and make everything seem like I was starting afresh and new, but it did not feel that way. There were definitely some challenges along the way on the Camino walking. I did it solo. And so there were times when I was alone, but also times when I felt lonely. And there was some physical challenges as well on that trip that I had not anticipated since I thought I was in good shape. And I had really worked on walking with a heavy pack prior to doing the Camino. But what I did learn and what being patient in that healing process was really kind of what it showed me, and that it wasn't just going to be like this magic 8-ball and just go away, and that it was healing in itself is a process. And so I want to encourage you, if maybe that's where you are today and you're thinking travel's going to cure it all. It's not a quick fix pill, but it certainly gives you skills and a mindset that can change your perspective and attitude on the situation that you're facing. It may also provide actual physical restoration that maybe you need, or mental reprieve that you need. It can give you the space to grieve, which I know is often really hard in our busy lives and in our work life, family life situation, to carve away some time to actually just let it go and cry it out. And we often have to, as women, hold it together. We have to keep our family together. We have to look like we're put together. And so getting away on a solo trip, even just to do that, you get away and you just spend some days crying and journaling and restoring your physical and mental body with some peace and quiet, then that is all worth it. And so, yes, there's intentional planning that is good to have. And that is sort of what I guide my clients through, and I can guide you through. If that is something you are looking to move forward with in your life, I like to say, because as I mentioned, it is definitely a tool or a resource, but it's not that magic pill. But it's definitely, it could show you so much about yourself, your situation, and give you that space to process, grieve, and just be. That's such a hard thing for us to do, to just sit and be. I mean, I struggled with that. Just an example, I was somewhere and they had a pool. I was dog sitting and I had decided that I would just go out and lay in the pool, like on the raft, and just relax and even just spend some time outside without my phone. And, those first 10 minutes were, I'll be honest, agonizing. And then it sunk in. Okay, I can relax. But then I have such a mindset, we all do, that we have to be doing, that just to relax and just be and not worry about what's coming next or what we have to do, what's on our to-do list, is so hard. And solo travel can even provide that if that's simply all you need. And I want this year for you, especially if that's you and you are struggling to get past a certain thing and you really want to travel, but you have some hesitations or maybe you're overwhelmed with the whole process. That is what I help you do in the coaching program. And so I would love for you to book a discovery call and see if you are a good match to do the program. And if so, I would love to get you started and get you on a healing journey through your next travels. You can find me at CherylBeckEsch.com. And I'll also put a link below where you could actually, for my Calendarly, you could actually schedule that discovery call for yourself and get that started. Don't waste time. Let's make 2026 a year of healing, a year of these great expectations being fulfilled, a year of transformation for you so that you can go on and enjoy life, enjoy your travels, and feel more of a full person, a real person. We're all real people, but I mean, like just feeling more like yourself and having that experience. I want to guide you through that. So I hope you will book that call. Did this podcast inspire you to participate in a solo journey? Well, my hope is that all women 50 and up have the courage and opportunity to experience at least one solo trip in their lifetime. But maybe you're feeling stuck about trying it solo. With my one-on-one travel coaching program, I can help you have a transformative trip, especially for those who are needing healing. Go to my website, CherylBeckEsch.com, and check out the program. Travel is a wonderful vehicle to heal.